Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So what you're going to read here with me is purely rumors and speculations. It is in no way something that I can consider truthful, but it's still something interesting because this guy here speaks about some real troubles that the PS5 is allegedly having, according to him of course, and he says that he believes this is the case because as of now we haven't seen any single game from the PS5 and even the console itself. So he says, talk to the devs working on the games. I know several, I know people developing directly for Sony. I work in the business in another sector. The collective feeling is Sony screwed up this generation. They underestimated Microsoft and were overconfident. Again, expected the delays to the PS5 and heating problems to rival the Xbox 360. Sony is really concerned right now. He carries on to say, don't you find it odd they have yet to really show the hardware despite pressure to do so due to the Microsoft Series X? Because hardware fails at an alarming rate. The system cannot maintain its clocks. The M2 gets hot quick. More throughput means more power consumption means more heat. But even PCIe 3.0 M2 got hot in the setup. So here again it tries to explain why there is this total silence from Sony. He has a point here. Why didn't Sony announce or show their hardware console PS5 up to this point, whereas right now we got a full teardown of the Series X? So this really raises some questions, but I don't know whether this is due to the overheating he speaks about here or due to something else. Underlying issue is Sony did not realize the form factor needed to be changed, and now they are concerned about having to completely redesign it. Probably he's saying completely, probably a typo, and have it look more like the Xbox Series X tower, because it will look like they have just copied Microsoft. Do you also not think it odd they have not really shown off some launch titles? Reason: the devs have no idea what to optimize for, because Sony has no idea what the PS5 will deliver in consistent performance, and yet they do not want to show off captures from dev systems that do not match what a production console would produce. And again here he's alluding to the fact that the PS5 is supposed to have these variable clock speeds in the GPU and CPU, and of course when you have these variable clock speeds, it means that sometimes you want to develop for a game and then you find some sort of problem that you cannot overcome. So for example, some scenes are more dense because of the geometry levels and because of many objects that are rendered, and some scenes are not. Like for example, if you look at the sky in a game, for example, you do not see a lot of things that need to be rendered. The people I know closest to it have said it's really bad. Sony is just hoping the PS name can help them weather it for 2 years so that they can get it to redesign. And this is a very bold claim. This is a very, very bold claim. Like, a brand to wait for 2 years for a complete redesign, I don't think it's really possible, especially for a console like PS5. It's going to disappoint a lot of people if that's true. Again, take this with a big grain of salt, because what this guy here, Jeff Rickle, is saying, you know, he's trying to make some sense, but again, some things don't make sense at all. Like this, you know, Sony hoping the PS name to help them and to buy them time for 2 years. It's a little bit difficult to believe, at least as far as I can see. He continues to say, you've been warned. Sony rested on its laurels and took for granted what was going on. They heard rumor of what Microsoft was doing, but did not believe Microsoft could pull it off. third parties verified Microsoft achieved all they set out to do and have tested the Xbox Series X. Microsoft was very open about letting them. This is why Sony rushed things to try to get something out. Them seeing that Microsoft is ready to manufacture right now caused some problems. Again, might be true, might not necessarily be true. But the point here is that Microsoft have done a very good thing, in my opinion, which is to have this powerful console without having to resort to things like variable clocks, because when you go into the realm of variable clocks, there is this trial and error, and you cannot guarantee the results. Of course, now you cannot guarantee the results even with the Microsoft Series X or the Xbox Series X, but at least they have shown what they are capable of, and they have completely redesigned their console in order to have the best cooling possible, and they didn't care whether people would, criticize this form factor or not, because traditionally consoles haven't been in such a strange form factor. Probably the GameCube was one exception, but other than that, consoles were more compact. Again, the guy here continues to say the debate right now is, do they delay by 6-12 months to get it right, or do they force it out to keep pace with Microsoft and deal with a high fail rate and performance issues? I know for a fact attempts to optimize for PS5 take far more work than for Series X. I think that's something that I totally agree with. The Series X has this stable clock speed in GPU and CPU, so you know what to do. Again, the PS5 has variable clock speeds in the CPU and the GPU, so developers will have to take a lot more time to achieve the results that they want to achieve. The devs say the Xbox delivers steady, powerful power that is always predictable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. While the PS5 does not, and is not even predictable all the time. This makes optimizing near impossible. It cannot always deliver the power you ask for it, even in short bursts. So there you have it. This is pretty much what this guy is saying here, and I think this will make a lot of people angry, the PlayStation fans. And this Jeff Rickle is not really someone who is known in the industry for Sony to reply to him, but at the same time Sony has to show us their console, and they have to show us some gameplay. And of course, there have been also rumors about the price of the PS5, which is, really low, probably like $400 for a beast that is supposed to be, as far as specs are concerned. Again, those are just rumors, it's not really something for sure, but if the rumors are true, that means that this console is not as powerful as many people claim it to be. But then again, we will have to wait and see. And if we look at the guy's Twitter, he says that he's, interested in many things, jack of all trades, master of all. And then in order to look at his posts, you have to follow him. So again, this looks a little bit like someone wanting a following. I don't know, especially that he has more than 18,000 tweets and very few followers, around 168. Whether this is true, what he's saying, or not, only time will tell. But I felt that this is worth sharing and discussing. What are your opinions? Leave them in the comments down below, and of course be sure to subscribe to the channel for more news, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one.